Alrighty, welcome back everyone to the live stream. This is going to be an interesting stream just because also it's going to be interesting in general because at this point on I'm going to only basically record while I'm live, and then I'm going to turn all of these live streams into YouTube videos. So I'm not sure how they're going to convert. I'm hoping one stream can convert into one video, but we'll see what happens if that actually is the case. But in this episode, or in this live stream, we're going to go ahead and work on the poll. So whenever we click on poll, it's basically going to inject this guy here. And basically, I think what I want to work on is getting the backend working for adding a poll to a post. We're probably going to need what post it's attached to. I'm not sure how we're going to do that part just because of the fact that we'll need like an ID or something. Well, I guess it wouldn't matter that much because it's going to have the many to one or whatever, and then it can have up to 4 choices, and it has a number of days. So this will probably just basically convert to what's the last day that it could possibly be on. So with that being said, I'm going to move the poll to the side, and today we're going to open up our what is this called, Eclipse, I can't think, and we're going to go first, I guess, into our com and models, and we're going to make a new file, and we're going to make a new class. I'm just going to go ahead and call this poll, and it's been a minute, so this will need to be whoops, okay, I guess we're going to wait for this to build. This will be at entity. If I could type at entity, and let's go ahead and import entity, and then we're going to want what else do we want? Let me think. We're going to need maybe at table, so at table, and this little name will be equal to poll. All right, and then we're going to need an ID. So we'll need, and how are we going to do this? Because each poll is going to need a question, and there can be multiple questions. So that's what I'm trying to think of, because it can have one to many prompts. So we might need to also make like a poll question and kind of figure out how that's gonna work, I guess. So let's go ahead. First we'll say at ID, and then we'll say at generated value, and I think it's like generation type, or its strategy, I think, equal to generation type dot auto. I don't know why my computer's being so slow today. And this would be private. I think we've been using integers, poll ID. Let's go ahead and import these. I did these right. And is it strategy? Okay, it looks good. And at column, and this is probably going to break a bunch of times, it's fine. At column will be name will be poll underscore ID. All right, and save that. And if we wanted to, yep, now is it fine? We're gonna reload. Well, let's go ahead and open up dbeaver really quick. So I'm gonna hop into dbeaver and let's take a look at this. I don't know what's in my dbeaver anymore. I just want to see a poll start popping up here. So let's give this a second to open up. My computer's probably slow because it's trying to record. Hopefully it's not trying to record 4K, but I'm live streaming and recording at the same time. So hopefully all is well. So if FooterDB is up, let's go into our database, schema public tables, and okay, I did create polls, got a poll ID, except I named it wrong. This should be not poll underscore ID. All right, so now we need like an end date, I guess. So this will be private date end date, and this will be at column, and this one will have a name equal to end underscore date. Again, we'll calculate this, and it has like, maybe we should say end time. I don't know if you can store a date time, because date, although I think date does have everything in it. So we'll see what happens here. the good thing is that at least with the way that we're doing this, we can on the fly refactor and we don't have to keep track of everything. And then we're gonna need like poll questions. So I'm gonna go ahead and new, and let's see, I'm gonna say new class, and I'm gonna say poll question, and I'm just gonna make another entity at entity and at table name or table, and this will be name equal to, and this will be poll underscore questions. Now here, I don't know, I guess we'll just do one to many / many to one. It should probably actually be many to many, but it is what it is. So although this should be not poll questions, this should be poll choices. So poll choice, and then we'll call this poll choices, and then we'll rename this file. So we'll go ahead and refactor this file. We'll call it poll choices or poll choice, because that's really what it is. So this one will also have a private integer ID, say poll choice ID, and this will have at ID and at generated value, the strategy equal to generation type dot auto. Let's go ahead and import all of this. So we have the we have that. We'll have a private string poll text, and this will be at column, and name will equal to poll underscore text. So I guess it'd be choice text, poll underscore choice underscore text. So what is the text? And we'll say at column name equal to, and this name would be equal to poll choice ID. These are optional. I just like to keep it like this. And then we need a list of, actually be a set of user, I think. Or do we have to say application user? I think it might be application user. I have a set of application user, and we'll call this votes. And this one, I need to think about how we do this, because I always forget how to set this up. I don't ever remember it's one to many or many to one. So let's just go ahead and take a look at our application user. So let's see here. So set, that's many to many. I think it's gonna be many to one, maybe. Let's go to our post, because post would be many to one. It's actually gonna be at one to many, it looks like. Yeah, so at one to many on this side. So at one to many, and then I'm not gonna set it up on the user. I don't think I need to set this up on the user side. And we need to set up all of the other stuff in here, the getters and setters and everything, but we'll deal with that later. Let's just go ahead and refresh this, make sure that this is working all right. So refresh. So we have poll choice, and then we do have basically a many to one or a many to many here, so that's fine. We have our choice ID, our text, and it looks like it's gonna split this up. That's fine. It can split up however it wants. So now what we need is inside of our poll, we need like a at, and this one will be at many to one, I believe. And this one we will do that by directional mapping. So at many to one, we'll have at join column, and then we'll have, although this is still backwards, so this will still be at one to many actually. One to many. And then this will be a private list of poll choices, and this will be called choices, right? And then let's go ahead and import one to many in our list. Let me actually get a proper one to many. So this one's not a proper one to many. Where are my good examples of one to many at? Let's see. It's not going to be under role. No. All right. Well, we haven't made it very far and we're already Googling. So we'll see. Hibernate one to many example. Let's see. One to many and then mapped by. Okay. So this is going to be, I did it in the wrong one. Oh well. Why did it make a new one, I wonder? Interesting. Anyway, so we're going to say one to many map by equal to cart. So yeah, so we're going to say one to many and then inside the one to many. Whoops. We're going to have mapped by equal to, so inside here, we're going to have mapped by, and this is going to be equal to the poll. Because then in here at the top, we'll say, what will we say here? We'll say, how do we want to say this? We'll say private poll, and then we'll say this one has the at many to 1 on it, so then we'll map it backwards basically. And then I forget how to do the many to 1, so let me double check that. So then the many to 1 is going to have the at join column on it. So we'll say at many to 1, and we're going to say at join column, and then inside the join column we need the name of the join column. The name will be equal to poll underscore ID, and then if we want to, we could say knowable false. We might also, I don't remember, do we normally put, let's see here, everything's breaking but it's fine. Let me double check our application user. So at 1 to 1, 1 to 1. So we can add a fetch type to that, but I'm not concerned about that. Let's go back to our post. I can't believe I don't have any actually like good one to minis and many to ones. Crazy to me. But I guess technically everything is many to many, so. But we'll see what happens. This should be fine, I believe. We might have to do a little bit of work on it later. We might have to debug, but it's fine. So I think everything should be good. Let's check our dbeaver again. So let's go ahead and refresh. So now if we go into our polls, so our polls has the poll ID and the end date, and then there should be a poll choices. The poll choices has the link to the poll ID on it, and then also we have the votes. So whatever the ID is, the poll choice ID and the vote and everything gets mapped back. I don't even want to see what the ERD looks like for this. It's probably disgusting. Let's see, can we go into our public and let's just look at our ERD. It's probably horrible right now. View diagram. Oh yeah, look at that fun mess. Anyway, let's stop getting distracted. So we're doing somewhat well here. So we got all this. Let's go ahead and set up our getters and setters and toString and stuff, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this is all good to go. Let's first go into poll. And we could use Lombok, but I don't really like Lombok all that much. So if you guys are trying to follow along and whatnot, you could always use Lombok. Let's just do our, well, let's do, first we'll do a constructors using fields. So we'll do a no arg. I don't love the poll ID, whatever. And we'll do we want an all args? I don't know, we'll see. We're gonna have to do some special stuff with the choices and stuff probably, but we'll figure it out. So then we'll say source and constructor using fields. Because I'm lazy, I'll do an all arg, and then we'll do our source, and we will do a generate getters and setters, and then we will do a generate toString. So let's see here. We go into our source, generate toString, and from here, we'll go ahead and do is we'll just do all of them, and that should be fine. And then we'll do the same thing poll choice. So right click and we'll do what are we gonna do? This is what's gonna be a problem. I feel like we'll have to figure out how we're gonna do that, how to do this, but it is what it is. So we'll right click and we'll say source and generate constructor using fields. And I don't know why this one looks different. Oh, it's because I forgot to put private on it. So add private. There we go. And then we'll also do a no-arg constructor. So we'll go in here and say source and generate using fields. Do a no-arg, right? And then we'll also go ahead and do getters and setters and all of those goodies. So go ahead, source and generate getters and setters. And source and generate our toString. All right, so that's good to go. Now what I'm thinking is we're probably gonna need a repository for both of these. I'm not sure about I don't know if I'm gonna do a repository or a service for the poll choice, but I definitely need a repository for both of these. So I'm going to go into our repositories and just make a new interface, and we'll go ahead and say poll repository, and we'll go ahead and say extends JPA repository, and I don't remember which way this goes. I think it's integer and poll, but I might have it backwards. Let's just double check. I do have it backwards. Let's go ahead and swap those. So poll and integer. All right, and let's go ahead and import poll, whichever one it wants to import first. And I'll go through and figure out what we need. We're definitely gonna need like a create. We'll need some sort of CRUD, but I don't know what exactly we're gonna need. We might just need very basic CRUD functionality for this. And we also need to go ahead and map the poll to the post as well. So we'll have to deal with that. But I'll deal with that in a second. And then we'll make a new, and we'll say new interface. And this will be poll choice repository. And then we'll do the same thing. Extends JPA repository. And this will take in our poll choice and our integer. All right, so go ahead and do this, maybe. Here we go, and do this. All right, so now we got to think about how we're going to do this. I think technically it's going to be a one-to-one mapping. One singular poll can map to one singular post, basically. So inside of our posts, let's deal with that real quick. So our models in our post, and I think we might already have a one-to-one mapped in here. Okay, so don't have a one-to-one mapped in here, but no, we have a one-to-one mapped inside of our application user, I think. So I have an example. So yeah, so one-to-one has a join column and has a reference join column, and I'm guessing this is just on the image. So I'm going to go ahead and try to set this up. So inside of our poll, we also need the post that it's being attached to, basically. So we'll have the poll ID. We'll say private post, post, right? And then we'll say at 1 to 1. I believe this is a move for this because you're only going to have one post mapped to this. And or do we want to map it this way? I think we want to map it on the post itself, because I don't think that we map these backwards. So I think we want to map this on here. So let's just go I don't know where to put this at. We can put it down here, I guess. We'll say private poll at 1 to 1, and then we'll do something similar again. We'll say 1-to-1, and I think we had a it was inside of application user. We had cascade equal cascade type.all. That's fine. We can go ahead and throw that in there. So cascade 1-to-1 cascade type all, and then there's like a join column, right? So there was the at join column. So we need the name of the column and whatever. So at join column. So this would be poll ID, and then a reference would be reference name column would be poll underscore ID, I believe, because I think on our poll the IDs, the thing's called ID. So I don't know if it's gonna break. It's probably gonna break everything. We're gonna have to debug. It broke for a second, but then it refreshed. So maybe it worked. We'll see here. Now we need to go ahead and say that's fine, I guess. We probably need to set, well, it can be null. We need to set this up though, so I'm gonna go ahead and just throw poll, and then go ahead and say this dot poll is equal to poll, and then we'll just go ahead and I'm gonna get rid of this toString. Right click, and we're gonna go ahead and source and generate getters and setters because I'm lazy, and go ahead and generate a new toString. So generate toString with everything in it. Cool. So now this is probably going to cause some headaches later on down the road when we actually try to create these. So let's go ahead and just try to take a look at our whatever it's called, our database here, and our post, and hopefully it has a poll ID. Cool. So that should theoretically go over or point at the other thing that we need, the actual poll itself. So fingers crossed there. All right, so the steps of creating a poll. So let's go ahead and close out some things. So I think this is all good. Now we need to make our poll service. So go into our services, new file, make a class, and we'll call this poll service. And so we're gonna need a way. What do we need here? So we'll say at service really quick. Also, we never marked the repository. It doesn't really matter, but I typically like to mark these anyway. Have I been marking these ones? Okay, never mind. Haven't even been marking these anyway. All right, so we won't mark them. All right, cool. So what do we need? We need to be able to create a poll before it gets attached to the post. We need to be able to create all the poll, what are they called? Gosh dang it. We need to create all the poll options before they are attached to the post as well. So we're gonna need our private, and we're gonna need the private poll repository, poll repo. I don't know if I've been calling these poll repository or poll repo. It's been a long time since I played with this. Okay, I've been calling it repository, and I should probably say static, private static, or private final. Right? That's what you normally do in your services. Yeah. Okay. Private final poll repository, private final poll choice repository, poll choice repository. All right, and we'll go ahead and import that and import this, and we'll say public poll service. And if we need some sort of service specifically for the choices, we can do that, but I think it'll be fine. So we'll say poll service, and we'll take in, we'll say at autowired, and then we'll import this. So our poll service will take in the poll repository, poll repository, and it'll take in the poll choice repository, poll choice repository, and we'll just say this dot poll repository. I like to do it in the order. Repository, maybe, equal to poll repository. Did I spell it wrong? Nope. This dot poll choice repository is equal to poll choice repository. All right. So we need to create the. We need a way to create the post, a poll. We need a way to create the poll choices. So I'm just gonna kind of merge these into one. So I'm just gonna say public poll choice. And we're going to say, what are we going to say here? We're going to say public poll choice, and we're going to say generates choice, and then this is just going to take in a poll choice, right? And we'll just say PC, and all this is going to do is return our poll repository dot save. We're going to save that PC. That's all it's going to do. All right, and import poll choice. So all it's going to do is it's going to take in is save poll. This should be poll choice repository. Poll choice. Whoops, did this wrong. Poll choice repository dot save. We'll save PC. So we'll just save that, and then we need to create all the poll options or poll choices before we save them, and then we need to create a poll for statutory point. The public poll. We'll say we can say create. I'm just gonna call it generate poll. Again, this will take in the poll. So we'll say poll. And as long as we'll have to get the IDs out of these, but that shouldn't be an issue. So now we'll once again just say return, and we'll say return poll. This will be poll repository. And dot save, and we'll save that poll that is called P. I called it poll. All right. So I don't think we're ever gonna need to just grab a poll by itself, because all the polls are by default gonna be attached to a post, so we can bring all of that data in at. Something that we probably want to do inside of our well, how do we want to do this? We might need, well, it's one to many, so I don't think it should matter, because the only way that would, okay, let me go back. What I'm thinking here is it could have been an issue with all the users being returned, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. I think we'll be fine. So now what we're going to want to do is so let's see, we need to be able to place a vote. So place a vote on a poll. So here what we want to do to place a vote, say public poll vote or choice, I guess. Take in the poll, and maybe we'll take in the user, so application user, and what we could do is, although we also need the choice, although we should be able to get it by ID. I think in our poll choice we have the inside of our poll choice. Let's go into our poll choice real quick. So poll choices, we have the ID of the poll, so we should be able to say poll choice choice in user ID or user or application user, right? And we should be able to say like, the first thing that we want to do is we need to update the choice itself. So then we can say like choice dot, we'll say set of application user, and we'll say current votes is equal to choice dot, and then we'll say get votes. So we'll get the application users, and then what we'll do, and we should definitely have @transactional on this probably. So the import like I wanted to. Is this not application user? It is. So what is your problem? The type set is not generic, not be parameterized with application user. What do you mean it can't be parameterized with application user? Is this not a set? That application user. Okay, I'm not sure. Did it import the wrong set? It did. Of course it did. Thank you, Eclipse. Let's try this again. Make sure it comes from util. There we go. Alright. So now we have our application user. So now we're gonna say current votes.add, and we're gonna add in that user. And then we'll say, we could probably literally just call, no, we can't. We're gonna say how are we gonna do this? Although we probably don't have to update the poll itself, because the front end will already be updated, and then whenever we fetch the data, it should already be fetched, right? It should just fetch everything, and we could probably throw like a fetch type eager on it, maybe. If we go into our do our models. I don't know why we have DTO and model. But if we go into here, because poll is one to many, I don't know if we can, I don't know if you can say fetch type on that or not. We're just gonna give it a shot and see what happens, and then if it doesn't work, we'll deal with it. So now we can go ahead and say choice.set, and we're gonna set the votes to our current votes, and then we're gonna go ahead and say, although this is returning a poll, shoot, so the problem is we don't know what choice number this is. I guess we have the ID, right? We have the ID. So what we could say is we need to definitely say poll choice repository, and we'll say dot, and we'll say, I think we just have to say save again, and we'll put in that choice, and it should update. And then what we can do is we can return poll repository dot find by ID, I believe. We'll pass in choice dot get poll although get poll dot get ID. Oh wait, we have the poll, but it's probably not gonna be updated yet. So we'll do this, and let me guess, dot get, we'll say dot URL. No, that should be fine. I'm not worried about it throwing an exception. So now we can vote on a poll. Hopefully we can vote on a poll. And now what we'd want to be able to do is now what we want to be able to do is set up the repository, or set up the, I guess whatever it's called, the controller, and let's just see if it works. So new, we'll say class, and we'll go ahead and just call this poll controller, and we'll throw @rest controller on this. We'll throw @request mapping on it, @request mapping to /poll. I'm interested to see if it's going to work or not. I don't have high hopes, but you never know, it could work. So now we have that. Also, what does our DTO look like for creating a post? Because we're gonna have to deal with that as well. I think it's probably fine. Well, we're gonna have to deal with that. We'll deal with it in a second. So private final, and then we'll say private final poll service at autowired, and we'll say public and poll controller, and we'll have our poll service. This dot poll service is equal to poll service. Let's go ahead and import everything we need to import. Import our poll service and this. Let's just go ahead and get it working to create the poll. So we'll say @post mapping / and we'll put public, and although you know what, we don't create the poll this way. We create the poll by sending it in a post. So we're not gonna have a post mapping on the poll. We're just gonna have a put mapping to vote, basically. So that's an interesting dilemma. Let's go ahead and I guess let's just see if we can create a post that has a poll on it. So we are gonna need to go ahead and update to create post DTO. So create post DTO is now gonna have a private poll on it, and then private poll, and we'll pass in the poll. It could be null. It is what it is. This dot poll is equal to poll, and we'll go ahead and set up toString and all of that good stuff. So we'll say new and source and generate getters and setters. We'll set that up, and we'll also generate a new toString. I should really use Lombok. Lombok, something about me makes me itch. Okay. So we need to update our post controller, basically. So let's go into our post controller. Or it might actually be post service. So I think the post controller, all it's gonna do, if we go into our post controller, whenever we make a post, it's just gonna call create post with post GTO. So we're gonna want to go into our post service, and we're gonna want to set this up. So we're gonna basically set up another one. We're gonna say if true, there is a poll that needs to be created. So we're gonna have to bring in the poll service. So private final poll service. We're gonna need to bring this in. So let's say poll service, and this dot poll service is equal to poll service. So we're gonna say if the DTO.get poll not equal to null, For now, we're just going to system.out.println, and we're going to say there was a poll in there. All right, and we're going to, I guess we're just going to send it and see what happens. So we're going to need to update our service. So the poll takes in an ID, which isn't going to matter, an end time, and I guess this should be in date, but we might have to make this like a date time or something. Like, is this a thing? Let's see. I don't really know the date API that well. I need to be a local date time. Let me look up Java docs. Java date and time API. Let's see. So we have java.time. I don't think this is the one I want. Let's see. Well done never lets me down. Local date is a specific day, month, year. We want a local time. So I guess looks like we do want local date time. Local date time used to represent a combination of date and time. So most commonly used class, we need a combination of date and time. So we'll say that. So we'll say local date time. We're gonna hope this works. And this needs to be a local date time. I have no idea how we're gonna pass this as a JSON. Let's see. How to pass local date time as. See. Local date. I want local date time though. None of this helps me. So we can say JSON date, I guess. We're gonna try this. We're gonna say add JSON format, pattern, year, month, day, hour, minute, seconds. I don't know if I care about the seconds. Probably just the hour and minutes. Let me look at Twitter real quick. Yeah, it's just days, hours, minutes. So we're gonna try that. Inside of our, and we're jumping all over the place, but inside of our poll, oh, we're already in here. We're gonna say at JSON, and then we look again. At JSON format. Import this. All right, and we're gonna format this as pattern equal to. We're gonna go year, dash month, dash day, and then let me look at what the hours and seconds look like, hours and minutes look like again. Then hours, and a minute. So this should take that in fine. Now these are broken though, so let's fix these. This is a good thing about doing it the way that I'm doing it here though, and doing live streams and whatnot. Now I don't have to worry about jumping all over the place trying to keep track of what I'm doing, so that's kind of nice. Generate get in a second for end time. All right, so basically that'll be like, okay, when does this poll end? What time? Now, I'm sure time zones and stuff would be an issue, but this isn't a real project, so I don't care. Okay, so basically let's go ahead and try to make a post with the poll in it. So let's open up Postman. It's gonna ask me to update, so I'll give it a second. All right, so we're gonna go into our /post, Where's our post for /post though? Okay. So we need a poll, and inside the poll is another object, and this poll is going to have a poll ID. So we'll say poll ID. I'm just gonna put 0 because it's gonna generate one for us, and it needs an end date, right? So let me double check this. So whoops, we need a end time. We're gonna say end time, and this is gonna be year. So we're gonna say 2023. Month is 10. Day is, let's say, 27, and then let's say that we're going to end it at 12. And let me double check the formatting of this. Is it colon? Yeah, let's say we're gonna end it at 12:00. I'm assuming that's gonna be a 24-hour clock. I have no clue, but that's what the end time should look like. And then we're gonna need another object because now we need the choices. Now choices, and I have no idea if this is gonna work. This is gonna be a mess. So choices. So now choices are going to basically have objects in themselves, I believe. So choices is actually an array of objects. So each choice, let's just start out with like a couple choices because that's the minimum is 2 choices, and we'll kind of move from there. So our poll choice, let's go into our poll choice. Models. Our poll choice has a poll choice ID. So let's see here. So poll choice ID, poll choice ID will just be 0 because we don't have an ID. Then it has like poll. So this we don't have. So this one I'm just gonna leave empty. And honestly, we could probably JSON ignore it, and we probably want to JSON ignore this. To be honest, so I'm gonna go ahead and throw JSON ignore on this at JSON ignore because I could see this causing issues. So we're gonna actually JSON ignore poll. We do want a poll text. This should probably be called choice text, and that's gonna break everything, but I'll fix it. So we'll say choice text and choice text, and I know there's a fast way to do this, but whatever. Choice text, and let's fix these. So get choice text, return our choice text, and then this will be choice text and choice text and choice text, and then finally our choice text will be choice text, right? So now we need to add our choice text here. So we're gonna ignore the poll because we JSON ignored it. Choice text will be poll choice 1, and then we just need votes, which would be like an empty array, I believe. Let me double check that though. So let me go back into here, and then we just have poll choice, and we have our votes. So again, votes is empty. So let's just go ahead and make 2 of these. So now we're gonna go ahead and make the other one, and we'll paste that, and this will be 2. And now let's just see if this makes a post. Hopefully we're logged in and everything. Okay, that's not good. Internal server error. Let's see. So cannot invoke list.size because value of get images is null. Great. Okay, so this is a bug that obviously I didn't see last time. The post service, we're gonna say if DTO dot get DTO dot get images is not equal null, and that Okay, so that's a bug that I didn't see last episode, so that's cool. We can fix that. Let's try this again. Okay, so it returned nothing right now because we didn't actually create the poll or anything. But you can see there was a poll there. That did probably create a post, but I'm just going to ignore that. Let's go ahead and system out println. Let's see if we can say DTO get poll. Let's see if we can console.log the poll. So we're going to go ahead and see what the poll looks like. Okay, that's fine. So we have a poll 0 and choice 1, choice 2. The poll choice text. Okay, no, it's fine. Cool. So that's working. So now we need to go through the process of creating all of these polls, basically. Now I'm a little bit concerned. You know what we could do is we can create the poll first. So we'll create the poll first with empty choices. We'll create the choices and then we'll attach them. So that's what we'll do. So we're gonna go ahead and say poll saved poll is equal to poll service. Actually, we're gonna say, yeah, we're gonna say poll p is equal to new poll. We need to go ahead and bring in the poll. We're gonna say p dot, and we're gonna go ahead and we'll set the end time to DTO dot get end time. So DTO dot get poll dot get, and then we'll say time. Maybe is there a get end time? There we go, get end time. And then we'll go ahead, so we don't have the ID and the choices will just be empty. We might want to also set choices to a new array list of poll choice. And then save that. We'll go ahead and set that. Oh, needs to be What's the problem? Set choices. List poll choice is not applicable to argument array list. Okay, sure. Now we'll say poll saved is equal to, and we'll say poll service dot generate poll. We'll pass in p. We'll let's try to system out.println. Let's try to print out that saved poll to make sure that it has an ID now. And then once it has an ID, then we can save each individual poll choices and then kind of move on from there. So let's go ahead and make sure this works. So it didn't error out. And now we have poll ID 3. Our end date is the 27th at 12. Of course, there's no choices, right? And now actually, we don't need to do the ID because we'll just go ahead and say this is the poll. Now this part is the part that concerns me. We'll see what happens here. So we need to save each choice, and then we need to save the choices and then update the poll. So this part's going to be a little bit janky. So I'll say DTO dot get poll dot get choices, and we might be able to just say like for each, and then for each choice I don't know if it's gonna work. Seems like it's gonna work. For each choice, we're gonna say choice dot can we say dot set? No. Do we have to say poll choice? Choice. I'm horrible with for each loops. How do you do for each loop? Let me look it up. Java. Not what I wanted. What I wanted either. Go 4.8. You don't have the parentheses, maybe? That doesn't let me get what I want out of this, though. Strange. Well, I'm gonna say list full choice choices is equal to, and we'll say dto.getPoll.get choices. And what, you know what? I wonder if it's because it wasn't imported. Let's try this again. dto.getPoll.get choices for each choice no. I don't know what it thinks choice is there, but it's not it, chief. Anyway, so now we have choices. We'll just say for int I equal to 0, I is less than choices size I plus plus. And we need to save each choice, so we'll say full choice is equal to choices dot get 0 get I, and we'll say choice dot set, and we're gonna set the poll to saved, right? And then after we set that to saved, we're gonna say poll service, and we're gonna say generate choice, pass in that choice, and we'll say choice is equal to this. And then let's just go ahead and make sure this is working. System out until in, and let's just see if the choice has the ID on it, because that's the important thing here. I'm a little bit scared of an infinite loop. We'll see what happens. So let's just go ahead and send this. So we didn't get an issue. So poll choice 4, we have poll 3. Choices aren't set up yet, so that's why it's not broken. But what we're gonna want to go ahead and do probably is inside of our poll choice, inside of our toString, for the poll, we're gonna say poll.getID just to be safe. And now I don't know if I actually am resetting my database every time. There seems like there's a lot of stuff going on here. But let's go ahead and come back into our post, or our post service, and we have each choice. So for each choice, we're gonna go ahead and say saved. Go ahead and say list. This is a little bit confusing. List of poll choice. Say poll choices is equal to, we'll just say new array list of poll choice. And we're gonna say poll choices dot add. We're gonna add each choice, and then at the end of the list, we're gonna go ahead and say saved dot set choices to poll choices, because those are the ones that have the actual IDs on them. And then what we'll go ahead and do is say now what we'll do is we'll save this again. We're gonna need to go ahead and set poll saved poll up here, and we're gonna go ahead and say saved poll is equal to this, because we're gonna need to use it down here. If it's null, it doesn't matter. So now this will be saved poll. Say saved poll dot set choices. We'll say saved poll is equal to poll poll service dot shoot. We're gonna need an update poll, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and go into our poll service. Let's go ahead and create an update. Public poll update poll, because I don't want to do. Although wait, we could probably just call generate poll again. All it does is it saves it, and it already has that. This is a hack, but whatever. Pass it and saved poll. And then let's console or system.out println that saved poll, just to make sure that it worked. All right. Let's see. Please no errors. Okay, no error. So poll ID 3, end time, choices, poll choice 1, polls 3, poll choice 2. And if we want to add more, so we could add up to 4, and I'm sure this will still work. So we'll say poll choice 3 and copy and poll choice 4. So now this is what a post is going to look like. Unfortunately, it's a little bit gross. If we have 4 choices and we send it off, we see we have poll ID 7, and that is fine. That worked. So now we need to go ahead and say p.set poll and pass in that saved poll. And let me guess, may not have been initialized. It didn't complain whenever we did the images. Let's see here. Set images is DTO. Well, it's because we call DTO.get images. Okay. So what do we want to do here? We'll just say saved poll. What if we say equal to null? Okay, whatever. All right. Now, what happens whenever we save? And we get a poll with poll choice 1, 2, 3, and an end date. All right, so there we go. We made it so that we can basically take a poll. I don't know what else there is. We need to test the voting. So maybe we go ahead and test the voting really quick. Actually, no, we don't have a voting option. I don't have much time left to play around. Let's see if we can cook that up really quick. So if we come into our poll poll controller, so we need a public vote, public poll cast vote, maybe, and this will take in. We're gonna need a special DTO for this. Maybe we, because for this we need the choice in the application user. So make a new DTO, new class for these records, their classes. So new class, and this is going to be vote poll vote DTO, and this is going to take in a choice. So this will say, did I just do public on these? How have I been doing these? Okay, I did do full on. So private, this will be poll choice, and private application user. Really? Full service. I could pass in the ID of the choice and the ID of the user probably, and it'd be a lot faster. Then I have to bring in the user service and all of that stuff. Let's just do this. That's fine, because we're gonna have access to it on the front end anyway. So cast vote take that, go ahead and import this stuff. Pull choice and this, and we'll just go ahead and generate the source, generate a constructor using fields, and we'll do a no argument as well, source, and generate fields for no argument. And we'll do a source, getters and setters. Why is user uppercase? Fix this. User. Okay. This dot user. Generator getters and setters. So source and generate getters and setters. Finally, source and then generate string. All right. So in our poll controller, this will take in a poll vote DTO, call it vote, I guess. Let's go ahead and import what we need. So import our poll vote DTO, and this will be an @put mapping /vote. I guess we don't really need the /vote, but it is what it is. And we'll need our @request body is a .dto, and basically we're just gonna return our poll service dot vote for choice. We're gonna pass in the vote dot get choice and then vote dot get user, and it should return the poll. Fingers crossed it returns the poll with the user added to it. So let's go ahead and set this up. So we need to say localhost 8000 /vote/poll. So let's come in here, make a new request. So let's go ahead and add a request. This will be a put mapping, and put mapping, and it'll be to /poll/vote. This will be http://8000. Instead of auth, this will be poll/vote. Now we should be able to cheat this. We should be able to go into the body, raw JSON, and we need a choice, right? And we need a user. So I'm pretty sure we can cheat this, and let's go into our thing here. So our poll choice has, our poll choice has in it, I broke everything. Go. I don't know where our other thing went. I'll deal with it later. Our poll choice has a poll choice ID. So I'm pretty sure we can fudge this for now. Poll choice ID, and we could say here, let's just take a look at our, although it's gonna reset, probably already reset. Let's see, poll choices, refresh the data. Yeah, there's no poll choices. Let's go ahead and make a post. Okay, that's where my console, way too big. Terrific. Okay, well this helps us. So now we have poll choices. So poll choice ID 4. Let's say we vote for ID 4. And then there should be like user ID. Let's double check that as well. So let's go in here, go into our application user. It's just user ID. This is a cheesy way to do this, but it should work. Does this have our user information? Yes, it does. User ID 2. Now, keep in mind, we're gonna have the full user data whenever we do this, so it should be okay. But let's go ahead and try to make this. We got 401 on authorized. We probably need a authorization header and bearer token. I completely forgot about this. So yeah, you need to log in. So let's go into authorization, go into bearer token. Looks like it's already loaded. Terrific, of 500. Let's see what happened here. So set to add object because current votes is null. Current votes is null in poll service. Current votes. Okay, that makes sense. So our... Oh, okay. That's something I didn't think about. So let's go ahead and just add... How do we want to deal with this? I mean, realistically, we should have the entire object with us. Let's go ahead and add choice. Let's go ahead and add votes in there and see if that fixes that. So go in here, go into body. We'll add votes. Realistically, we should have access to this whole thing. And we'll save. Still 500. See what the error is now. Same thing. Because return value of get poll is null. Poll choice.get poll on poll service 44. Choice.get poll. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Shoot. Okay. We're going to have to change this. And we're going to change it in the next stream/video, so sorry. But we're going to convert this into a ID for choice. We'll get the entire poll based off that choice, and we'll move on from there. So thank you all for stopping in the stream. I'm not sure how the video is going to be edited up, but I'll see you all in the next one.